Good evening, everyone. Today, you are all of them students. You came for the third day program of student development program on Code Java concepts with hands-on practices. Hope you, I think you enjoy the 2 day sessions and you gained a wonderful experience. So today is the final day. Thanks for attending the sessions. So now we can start the sessions. So our session handled by Mr. Dinesh and Sai Rahul will hand over will take care of the sessions.
So yes, so this is the third day and the last day, and in today we are going to create a to-do list up like a kind of application, and we are going to cover every basic concepts in Java. This is the task today. What we are going to do is the agenda is we are going to create a console-based to-do list application. This is the task. We are going to learn some basics, like we are going to cover all the basics mostly in Java using that. So let's revise what we have seen in this 2 days. We have started with what is programming, why programming need us, what is Java, features of Java, and all we have seen, right? And then let me take this one, features of Java, and then about J acronyms, JDK, JRE, JVM, why JVM, like what JVM will do, how Java became platform independent, about bytecode, what is the need of bytecode, what is JDK, the tools, JRE, what is JRE, like Java runtime environment, about standard libraries and all we have covered. And we have seen like the Java architecture, basic flow, how the Java is compiled. First thing, you're going to write dot Java file, which will be compiled by Java compiler, which will be in where JRE, and then it generates a bytecode. This bytecode is then converted into what, your machine code using JVM. So every machine, every individual machine will have a JVM installed in it. Using that, it converts JVM, like the bytecode, into a machine code. That's why it became platform independent, like this theoretical concepts and all we have covered. Then we have started the like structure of Java programming, the classes and object related things, like you know that Java is a pure object oriented programming, since it's going to cover everything inside classes only. So what is a class, this and all we have covered yesterday, right? So let, to talk about classes, it's nothing but a blueprint to create an object. I said like the last yesterday only, I said like why you need objects and all. See, if you're going to do a procedural programming na, everything you need to cover inside some functions only. For every functions, for every operations you are going to perform, you need to like end up writing some, mostly some functions. என்ன like problem, இப்போ to do list எடுத்துக்கோமே, we are going to add a task and then remove a task, update a task, like the task one is wake up at 6 a.m. like that, in the morning, like that we are going to add some task now. We can write so many functions for that. Everything we can manage using functions only. Like procedural programming doesn't contains any classes or objects. இதனால என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னா, the organize, like to organize the code now, it became somewhat difficult to organize the code. And also related to security, and then like we have so many concepts in oops, like encapsulation, uh, of like encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and then abstraction and all. Then this everything will help you to organize your code, to maintain your code, to reuse your code again and again. இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய இருக்கு. Like object oriented programming நம்ம தனியா பார்த்தோம்னா we can cover all these things. So basically you need to know, this is why we have created a separate way of writing program called object oriented programming. It's like a pattern, it's like a pattern. So that pattern will like include everything inside a class and object. So a class is nothing but a blueprint. Classல ரெண்டே விஷயம் தான் இருக்கும். One is attributes and then methods. You can't write it like, it's not mandatory, definitely you need to write this two, like இந்த ரெண்டுமே இருக்கணும். attributes, எல்லா attributesம் இருக்கணும், எல்லா methodsம் இருக்கணும், இல்லாட்டி மெத்தடும் attributeம் கண்டிப்பா இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு, it's like to be precise, it's not needed. But a class will contain these two things: attributes, you can call it as characteristics, how the object is going to look like, and then what the object can do, which will be come under this functions, methods, or we can call it as properties. Okay, so to create an object using like the class name, and then object name equal to new class name. In the new அப்படின்ற keyword, why we are going to, like, why we are using this new keyword? Whenever you're going to create a non-primitive type, whenever you're going to create a non-primitive type, an object, you'll use this new keyword. This keyword, new keyword, will help you to create a memory in heap. You know the difference between stack memory and heap memory, right? So stack memory, primitive, when you're going to create some primitive data types, it will go under stack memory, static memory. And whenever you're creating some non-primitive types like string, array list, and classes, interfaces, and all, it will go under a heap memory. Good. So this and all we have seen how to create an object and all. Then how, you know how to write a simple method. It will contain a return type and then the function name. Function name is simply like a variable name. How you name a variable. Variable name பண்றதுக்கு we have learned some rules. Um, you can't start with the numbers, and then you can't use an like special symbols or special characters, you can't use except underscore. See, that's why I'm using here an underscore. In the function name, okay, I'm using some function, I'm using underscore. This one is exceptional. And then you can't leave a space to while you are giving a variable name. And then what, you can't use keywords and all. This and all we have seen when we are covering variables. Then we have seen some, like, before variables we covered data types. What are datas? எல்லாமே datas தான். எல்லாமே datas தான். So every for differentiating them, we have data types. We have two types, which is primitive, non-primitive, that we have already discussed. So primitive is like system defined, non-primitive is like user defined, we have created. This and all we have discussed. Then again, for data types, you have the types like integer, float. It depends upon the use case. Stricta layer, it depends upon the use case. When you're going to store an integer values like numbers, that time you can use an int data type. And then float, you have double, you have boolean, you have string, you have character, you have byte, you have short and long, so many things, so many data types. And today I'm just going to start with a memory related concepts. Memory related concept, that one you need to know. Yesterday I told you, right? This one we are going to see. I'm going to start from it, and then we are going to see like conditional statements la. We are going to see switch case, what is a switch case, then looping. Then straight away we are going to start our like project, which is a to-do list, simple to-do list. Okay, this is the agenda, clear, right? So let's start. Enna, we have, first thing, we have some data types. I hope it's visible. Data types, we have int, float, we have double, you have. Then see, this and all, you don't need to consider the spelling and all, because this one is pseudo. I'm just writing for your reference. Hope you know that இங்கெல்லாம் கேபிட்டல்லாம் வராது, ஓகேவா? If you put capital na, it will become an object type. That one, that and all will go in depth. In this part we are not going to discuss those things, so I'm just writing the pseudo code, that's what I'm telling. Then you have character, string, you have. Then what, maybe for now this is enough. So integer க்கு without like everything will have a certain meaning, right? இப்போ இன்டீஜர்னா எப்படி, அதுக்குன்னு ஒரு லிமிட் இருக்கணும் இல்லையா? Let's say int will store this, like this is the limit to store integer number. Integer என்ன ஸ்டோர் பண்ணும்? நம்பர் ஸ்டோர் பண்ணும். இன்னும் like what is the limit for it? Without knowing the limit, how you can store? இப்போ நான் வந்து இப்படி ஒரு நம்பர் ஸ்டோர் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்னா, I need to know, right? Will it's valid or not, I need to know, right? Then only I can store it. Okay, I can store it in int, or else I can store it in long, right? Long int la na store பண்ணிடுவேன் இல்லையா? If I know that this is not valid, like it won't accept, the memory allocation will not accept this, so I can take it and store it in a long int. Correcta இல்லையா? So I need to know the limits, like okay, this is the memory allocation, so I can store these particular numbers. In this range I can store in this range I can store in float, double na, you have to know. Then only you can code without errors. Correcta? Mostly we are not like studying these kinds of things. சும்மா ரேண்டமா வந்து இது வந்து 4 bytes allocate பண்ணும், and then floatமே வந்து 4 bytes, it will allocate 4 bytes. And then double, 8 bytes, 8 bytes, boolean 1 byte. Like that we are just studying, but you need to know like string 24, and it's depends upon the string length actually, right? String length பொறுத்து இதோட memory allocation மாறும். And then for long end it may be 8 bytes, or in some other compiler 12 bytes. So this is what memory allocation is. Memory allocation, you can easily learn this now. Like int க்கு 4 bytes, okay, 4 க்கு 4 bytes, like this you can learn. But you need to know what actually happening in the back end. Why 4 bytes? What this 4 bytes means? Like that you need to understand, right? So while starting the class now, I said like everything is data only, everything is memory only, computer only understand zeros and ones. Same thing now also, like not now, every time computer will only know zeros and ones only. அப்போ அந்த மெமரி அலோகேஷனுமே 0 1 0 1 இந்த மாதிரியா தான் இருக்கும். So 4 bytes means how many bits? Because one bit means 0 or 1. Correct தானே? Let me write it here. What is one bit? One bit, it will be either 0 or 1. So one byte equal to 8 bits. You can store 8 bits. You can store 8 bits in one byte. That meaning. Okay, wow. So 4 bytes na, then 4 into 8, 8 fours are 32, right? 32 bits. இதையும் convert பண்ணுமே, 32 bits. 8 na, 8 eights are 8 eights are what? 64 bits. So I'm just converting this bytes to bits. That's all I'm doing. So 4 bytes na 32 bits. Okay, 32 bits na enna meaning? This also you need to know. I said one bit means either it will be 0 or it will be 1. இது ரெண்டு தான் கம்ப்யூட்டருக்கு தெரியும். ஸோ 32 பிட்ஸ் மீன்ஸ் டூ சான்சஸ். ஒரு பிட்டுக்கு ரெண்டு சான்ஸ் இருக்கு, கரெக்டா? டூ சான்சஸ், எய்தர் இட் வில் பி 0 ஆர் இட் வில் பி 1. அப்போ 32 பிட்ஸுக்கு எவ்வளோ சான்ஸ் இருக்கும்? ஒன் பிட்டுக்கு டூ சான்ஸ்னா 2 டு தி பவர் 32. கரெக்ட் தானே? ஒன் பிட்டுக்கு 0 ஆர் 1. அப்போ ரெண்டு பிட்டுக்கு எய்தர் இட் வில் பி 0 அண்ட் 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. அப்போ இப்படியே போச்சுன்னா it will be 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3. Like that I have put 2 power 32. So 2 power 32 தான் இதோட லிமிட். Then I will get the answer. I'm just opening my calculator and checking what is 2 to the power 32. Arey bhaiya, 2 power 32. Okay, it's like 1 10 100,000 10,000 lakh crore, 4 billion. Yeah, 4 billion. So this is the limit. I found it. Okay, 4 billion is the limit. Then I can store this much value in an integer. I found that okay, I can store this value in an integer. Let's verify it. இதான் வந்து எனக்கு கால்குலேட்டர்ல வருது இல்லையா? 2 power 32, which means what? Int can store this value. Int can actually store this value in a, like, in its memory. இதான் அதுக்கு அர்த்தம். This is what we have verified. So let's close this, and I'm going to open my Visual Studio Code, or else for now an online compiler is enough to check this one. I'm just opening my online compiler, Java online compiler. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove these things, it's and all, and then இதுவும் எனக்கு தேவையில்லை இப்போதைக்கு. I'm just going to create a variable int, any name you can give, int num equal to the same value. I'm going to put the same value here. Okay, wow. And then I'm going to try to print this system dot out dot print okay, print ln num. So let's see what happens. It's giving me an error. எப்பரா error வருது? We have verified it, right? See, this is what I have verified. Int 4 bytes. This is like, this one is correct only. Int 4 bytes the memory allocation in Java also. So 4 bytes, if I convert it to bits, 32 bits. 2 power 32. 1 bit G, 2 chances. So 2 power chances, 2 power 32. 2 power 32, my bad, sorry, 2 power 32, this value I am getting. So I'm just copying and then trying to paste it here, and I'm printing it. It says integer number too large, which means what, I can't store this much greater value here, like that it's telling. Maybe எப்படி இருக்கலாம், என்ன இருக்கலாம் அப்படின்னா, I'm reaching the limit, right? So 2 power 32 I'm getting this value, this is the last value, this is the last value, 2 power 32 na, this is the last value. Maybe let's try inclusively 9 6 வரைக்கும் போவேன், ஒரு ரெண்டு வேல்யூ குறைப்போம், 9 5 or 9 4, because as I said this is the last value, right? So இப்போ ஒர்க் ஆகுதுன்னு பார்ப்போம், இப்போ ஒர்க் ஆகாது. It's saying again integer number 2 large. We have done something wrong. Can anyone find it? I will tell you. See, integer na enna, it will contain both negatives and positives, but we totally forgot about this negative values, right? அப்போ negative values store பண்ண முடியும் இல்லையா? It starts from negative some value to positive some value. This is the limit. I am just trying to find the limit, but I forgot about the negative values, because like say, like an integer can store negative values. If I give minus 20 na, actually it can store minus 20. It's an integer, right? It can print. See, so அப்போ negative values பத்தி நம்ம மறந்துட்டோம் இல்லையா? I need to focus in that part also. I'm going to do what, okay, this is not your limit. 2 power 32 la I need to do something, because this 2 power 32 chances அப்போ 4 bytes int allocation க்கு எடுக்கல. It's something like it's doing something here. What it means is, whenever you are typing a negative number, let's say you are typing a negative number like minus 500, see, this one need a specific memory, right? 500, okay, 500, like normally positive nu print பண்ணும்போது positive number 500 nu போட்டுரும். It doesn't have any like prefix like that, correcta? But this negative number have a prefix. அப்ப இதுக்குமே எனக்கு I need a memory, right, to store this. இதை எப்படி காத்துல ஸ்டோர் பண்ண முடியுமா? No, you need to store this also for a negative number. Then this is what I have missed here. அப்போ 2 power 32 ல ஒரே ஒரு பிட்டை மட்டும் எடுத்துட்டு எதுக்கு கொடுத்துறேன், அந்த சைனுக்கு கொடுக்க போறேன். So 2 power 31 I have 2 power 31 bits. Let's again open the calculator, check 2 power 31. It gives me obviously 2 power 32 4 billion na, 2 power 31 by 2 billion, correct? 2 billion. Let's copy this one, and this is what I'm getting. This is what I'm getting. இந்த கமால எடுத்துரும் 2 billion. So this is the range. So from minus 2 billion to plus 2 billion I can store, correct? Minus 2 billion to the same number plus 2 billion I can store. So what I am going to do is, இப்போ இந்த நம்பரை காப்பி பண்ணி இதில் ஸ்டோர் பண்ண முடியுதான்னு I'm going to check again. லாஸ்ட் நம்பர் வரைக்கும் போக முடியாது இல்லையா? ஒரு 2 3 நம்பர் குறைக்கலாம், தப்பு இல்லை. லாஸ்ட் நம்பர் போனோம்னா பாருங்களேன், திருப்பி வந்து ஏதாச்சும் நெகட்டிவ் சைடோ எங்கிட்டாச்சும் போயிடும். ஸோ ஐம் ஜஸ்ட் கோயிங் டு ரிமூவ் திஸ் 8 எடுத்துட்டு I'm going to give some 6 or 7, can do either anything. It's print, it prints, which means what, this one is valid. இப்படிதான் என்ன நான் இப்போ என்ன பண்ணேன்னா, actually I'm just like verifying. They are saying for int 4 bytes, this is the memory allocation you have. So I'm just cross checking it. 4 bytes க்கு இப்போ வேல்யூவா நான் கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணி பார்த்திருக்கேன். Now I know that this is the range. Let me put 7 also. I think it will work, because I'm not reaching the end, right? So இதுதான் end. 2 power 32 க்கு I'm getting this value. This is the end. This is the end. So it won't print. So ஒரே ஒரு வேல்யூவை குறைக்கும் போது okay. So minus 2 billion minus also it will definitely work. I'm damn sure about it. See, so this minus 2 billion to positive 2 billion is the limit you can store it in an integer. இப்படிதான் you can cross thing, like cross verify it. எதையுமே ஒரு ரீசனோட படிக்கணும் இல்லையா? சும்மா 4 bytes ஓகே அவ்வளவுதான் அப்படின்னு விட முடியாது, கரெக்டா? ஏன் அப்படின்னா, ஏன் இது உங்களுக்கு தெரியணும் அப்படின்னா, now you know that okay, this is the limit I can store. While solving any problem you can easily find okay, integerல இவ்வளவுதான் ஸ்டோர் பண்ண முடியும். It may sometime throw an error like memory limit exceeded, or something like that. Some errors if it's going to throw, or error throw பண்ணாம எங்கேயாச்சும் error வருது, உங்களோட calculation எங்கேயாச்சும் error வருதுன்னா you can cross check it. Okay, this may be the reason, like that. It will be useful. That's what I'm telling. So since like I have done for integer, right? Same thing. Float க்கு 4 bytes are same, 32 bits are up 1 bit for sign 2 power 31, again minus 2 billion, but it will come with what decimal values. இப்போ booleanக்கு 1 byte na 8 bits, 8 bits 2 power 8, like that you can calculate for everything. You got it? This is what I have to like infuse in you, like இப்படிதான் படிக்கணும். ஓகேவா? Now what I'm going to do is, let's move to data types பத்தி இப்ப நம்ம பார்த்துட்டோம். You know how to create variables and all, primitives, this and all. Typecasting இப்போதைக்கு வேணாம். And then operators and all I have given some like like assignment, like ஏன்னா இதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப ஈஸி இல்லையா, அதெல்லாம் இப்போதைக்கு நம்ம பார்க்க வேணாம். ஏற்கனவே நம்ம லைட்டா பார்த்துட்டோம். இருந்தாலும் this and all simple. So conditional statements we have started. We have if, and then and if like வெறும் if else, and then if else if ladder, if and then else if and then else, like this one. And then you have nested if. Nested if we have seen yesterday, like that. We have this one, we call it as conditional statement because it check for a condition and execute the logic. It check for the condition, and if the condition is true, it will execute it. It will execute it. So also you have one thing in Java which is also a conditional statement. This is what I'm going to tell because I'm going to use it today. Conditional statement, conditional statement, which is switch case. Switch case, switch case ஒன்றும் இல்லாம syntax மட்டும் தெரிஞ்சா you can easily see this, the syntax. switch, switch, and then your choice here, and then case one, a semicolon, and then you can write your logic, and then you can what write your logic, and then a break here, and then a break, and then case 2, and then again your logic, like that it will go, like that it will go. You need to definitely put a break here. If you forget this break now, break is actually a jumping statement. If you put a break, it will stop this one, it will stop this loop. Actually not a loop, it will just break this whole switch, and then it will come like இதை விட்டு வெளியே வந்துடும், இந்த பிளாக் விட்டு வெளியே வந்துடும். ஓகேவா? அண்ட் like you can give n number of cases like this, and in the end you can put default, like without any case you can write your, you can check your logic. This is the syntax for what switch case. So this case na you can give like int choice. The choice will user will enter it, so you can pass this choice here. Depending upon the choice, if the choice is 1, it will move to case 1. If the choice is 2, it will move to case 2. If the choice is any other thing, it will directly go to default, like that it will work. This is what a switch case is, a switch case syntax is. Hope you understand. இதெல்லாம் simple இல்லையா, syntax அவ்வளவுதான். Like an if case you can use switch also. In conditions like you have so many cases to select. இப்போ இங்க வந்து சாய்ஸ் இருக்கு இல்லையா, let's say the user can select some, user having some 5-10 options இருக்குன்னா அதுல one option you are going to select na. And also whatever you're doing it using switch case now, you can do it using if else also. ஒன்றும் பெரிய டிஃபரன்ஸ்னா இல்லை. ஓகேவா? ஜஸ்ட் யூ நீட் டு நோ switch case is that, which is also a conditional statement. And if you forget to put a break here, it will cause like if the choice is 1, let's say, so எங்க போகும், கேஸ் 1க்கு போகும் இல்லையா, அங்க இருக்கிற லாஜிக் எக்ஸிக்யூட் பண்ணிட்டு if you forget this break na, it will move to case 2. It will move to case 2 without checking the condition. It will move to case 2 and perform the logic. So you need to definitely put a break here. Please don't forget this one. And also a default case, which will help you. If the choice is like invalid choice, you can it will come under directly to default. If the case is not that, let's say this one is 10, it will come under default logic. You don't need to put a break here because the last layer you don't need it. So this is what a conditional statement switch cases. Now you're going to see about looping control statement. We call it as control statements. So control statements, looping. You have three loops. While loop you have, and then in Java, and then for loop you have, and then do while loop you have, and then some special for loop you have, like we call it as for each loop. For each loop you have, this one we are not going to see here, but syntax one we are going to see now. இதெல்லாம் டக்கு டக்குன்னு பார்த்துட்டு we can straight away start, because see already 30 minutes went, right? We another have some 40-30 minutes only. அதனால we need to do the project also, right? So we can start fastly. இதை வந்து டக்குன்னு முடிப்போம். Now while loop, see, while looping is used means whenever you can take any problems that you are solving in your day-to-day life. In your day-to-day life you can take any, like anything. இப்போ பல்லு விளக்குறதே எடுத்துக்கோமே, that's one is also a task, right? இல்லையா? அது ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம். அது பண்ணலாட்டி என்ன ஆகும்? லைக் பல்லெல்லாம் போயிடும். அதெல்லாம் வேணாம். லைக் இட்ஸ் ஒன், that one is also a task. You need to do it repetitively. ஒரே ஒரு வாட்டி பிரஸ் இப்படி வச்சுட்டு எடுத்துட்டா போதுமா? Like you have to do some repetition, like some n number of it depends upon your choice and your toothpaste flavor. எவ்வளவு நேரம் விளக்கணும், அப்படியே முழுங்கணுமா துப்பணுமான்றதெல்லாம். So you have to do some looping there. Same thing in your, like whenever you are solving any problems, mostly you will loop something, you will repeat something. அப்போ ப்ரோக்ராம்லயும் அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கான்செப்ட் இருந்தா it will be very useful. Or else you need to write the same logic again. Let's take a situation. You are going to let's take the same thing. You are going to brush your teeth. Let's say you're going to brush your teeth. System dot out dot print ln, one time I'm brushing. Okay, wow. I'm going to like brush like that. I have written one time. இதே இது வந்து நான் இப்போ நான் இதை ரன் பண்ண என்ன, I will get output as like brush அப்படின்னு வந்துருச்சா? Okay, I have to do this. How many times? Like 5 times I'm going to do now. I can write 5 times like this. So I'm getting some repetition, like press like that. If I want to do it for 10 times again, I can write like this. So I get, so இப்படிதான் இதுதான் this one is a simple task. இங்க சும்மா நம்ம ஒரு விஷயத்தை print பண்றோம். This logic is very simple. This, like the problem is very simple. I'm just printing it. So what if the problem is complex and you have to repeat it like n 100 times? இப்போ இங்க வந்து நான் 100 times நான் பிரஷ் பண்ணணும், பல்லே கலண்டு விழுற அளவுக்கு அப்படின்னா 100 times இப்படி போட முடியுமா? கஷ்டம் இல்லையா? See, the code became very complex to read and all, but it will definitely give you the output, the desired output. Correcta? Yes, but this is not fair, right? You can't do for everything. So we have looping concepts. So to do it simply, like we have some syntax and all. The syntax is, first thing, in the while loop na, you have your initialization part. Initialization, where you are going to start, like that. And then your loop, which is while, and then you need to put one condition here, when to break, எப்படி இருந்தா லூப் ஆகலாம் அப்படின்றது. And then your logic here, logic here. And then in this while loop you can write your incrementation or decrementation part, which means what? Updation. This is the syntax ma. This is the syntax for while loop. Initialization, and then condition inside while, and then your logic, updation, increment or decrement. Let's say I'm going to initialize the value int I equal to 0. Okay va? Condition I is less than 10. Let's say I is less than, starting I is equal to 0, 0 is less than 10 na. So this condition is true, right? So it will allow him inside this block. Logic is the same logic. I'm going to brush my teeth. System dot out dot print or print ln, um hmm, the logic, and then updation part la I am going to increment, because see, one time I equal to 0 na, 0 less than 10 na, yes, it print, like it prints pressing. And then I plus plus I became what, 1. 1 less than 10 na, it again check. This is the flow. Initialization first, and then it checks the condition. If it is true, it will allow it, the logic will be executed. Increment or decrement, again after incrementing or decrementing, which means updation. After updation, again it will check for the condition. If the condition is true, again logic, increment or decrement, again condition. If it is true, logic, increment or this is the flow. So for this one, how many times it will print pressing? 10 times. 10 times what it says. Error expected. Okay, I just forget semicolon. So semicolon we put because to end a particular line we use semicolon. To end this line, if I forget to put a semicolon here, it's throwing an error. You are not ending this line like that. See, pressing. 10 times I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I want to make it 20 times, I can write like, because I'm starting from 0. That's why if I'm starting from 1, I can put an equal to here. எப்படின்னா, let me, like, let's say 3, only 3 times I'm going to press my teeth. So I equal to 1. 1 lesser than or equal to 3, yeah? Yes. 1 lesser than or equal to 3, yeah? It will print 1 time. And then I becomes 2. Starting 1 இருந்தது I plus plus. I plus plus, you know, right? Unary operator. I plus plus. I became 2. 2 less than or equal to 3. Yes. Again pressing. Again I plus plus 3. 3 lesser than or equal to 3. Yes. Lesser than or equal to. Okay. Then yes. System dot out pressing. Yes. I plus plus. I became 4. 4 lesser than or equal to 3. Yeah? No. 4 is not lesser than or equal to 3. So the while loop breaks and I get the output 3 times. Simple, right? So this is what a while loop is. The flow is initialization, condition, logic, and then updation. Again condition, logic, updation. Okay, well, now let's comment this and go to while loop, sorry, for loop. For loop you have some different syntax, but the work is same here. See, I'm going to loop some, like, for sometimes I'm going to repeat the logic. For I can initialize here inside the for loop, initialization, and then condition, then increment or decrement. It depends upon your logic. And then the logic system, I can copy from here, right? And then I'm going to put it. This is the for loop syntax: initialization, condition, and then updation, your logic. The flow will be initialization, and then check for condition, and then execute the logic. Then it can increment or decrement. Again, if after increment or decrement, it will again check for the condition. If the condition is true, execute the logic, and then updation. Adeda. Okay, wow, nothing different. So I will again get the same output, like 10 times. It will print pressing. Okay, no doubt, right? So you can, now you need to ask me this question. அப்புறம் என்ன, எதுக்கு for loop இருக்கு? while loopும் அதே தான் செய்யும் அப்படின்னா, why we have for loop? Because I'm going to do the same thing here also. But see, this one I can do it using while loop also. Then why I need for loop? You need to ask this question, like while loop ஒரு looping ஒரு statement இருக்கு, like ஒரு syntax இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, one control statement is there means why I need for loop again? Because it's doing the same work, right? There is a difference. There is a difference. For loop you're going to use, you will use only when you know how many times you're going to repeat it. When you know how many times, definitely, if you know this is like this much time I'm going to repeat the logic, if you know that, you can use for loop. But in some cases, if you know, if you don't know how many times I'm going to iterate the condition, this one, while seeing this task, now while doing the task we will learn. Okay, wow. While loop எப்ப யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம் அப்படின்னா, when you don't know, like you are not sure when the program will end. When you are not sure when the program will end, let's say இதிலேயே எடுத்துக்கோமே. What I'm going to do is, I'm just again uncomment it, and then I'm going to write a condition. If I equal to 2, that time I'm going to break this loop. So I don't know when I equal to 2 will come, correct? But this time I'm going to break the condition. So இதெல்லாம் எடுத்து விடணும் இல்லையா? Let's comment this and then see, when I equal to 2, it breaks. So only 2 times it execute. So while loop you will mostly use when you don't know, you are not sure how many times I'm going to repeat the logic. For loop you will use when you like damn sure that this many times I'm going to repeat the logic. Now you can use for loop. All difference. Okay, this one you have to remember. When anyone asks you what's the difference, you need to tell like you will use for loop when you know how many times you are going to repeat, when you are sure about it. If you are not sure, you can use while loop. And then do while loop. Do, then while, and your condition, let's say I greater than 10, and then a semicolon here. This is why do while loop syntax. Do while loop mostly they won't use, because do while loop என்ன பண்ணும் அப்படின்னா, without checking any condition it will execute one time, at least one time it will execute the logic without checking any condition. So condition check பண்ணாம ஒரு வாட்டி you will definitely get an output, then it can check for the condition. Same like while loop initialization, and then you are like looping condition. Condition வந்து என்னன்னா, one time it will execute definitely, then it check for the condition. If the condition is true, it will allow. So for this one also it will print again how many times, 10 times. But I need to again remove these things. Let's uncomment this one and then run it. For do while loop, see, actually it's going like I'm not incrementing or decrementing it, right? So it will become an infinite. Same like while loop, you need to increment or decrement it inside this block. So it will print 10 times. See, it's 10 times. But if you write a condition like I lesser than or equal to 0, how many times it will print? One time, because without even checking any condition, first it prints brushing, and then it will check for the condition. If the condition is true, it would allow it. So do while loop you need to use it where means one time I definitely need to do this. Like next iteration எனக்கு கவலை இல்லை, but at least one time I need to do the logic அப்படின்னா you can use do while. Mostly they won't use, in most of the case we won't mostly use do while loop and all, but you need to know, right? So for each loop syntax will be for, and then the data type, and then an iterator, and then your array list, let's say list, and then system dot output. Actually I can't directly teach you this like special for loop, because for this na you need to know some collections and all. Array எப்படி இருக்கும் அதெல்லாம் you have to, that time you can learn this. But just this is the syntax. For, and then your like data type of this particular list, let's say this list having some integer values, and then an iterator, this will hold the value, this will hold the list values 80. இப்போதைக்கு இது வேணாம், ஓகேவா? You can learn it after some time. So this is the looping. Do while loop, you know, right? For loop and then while loop, simple, right? So yes, this is control statements looping. Now we have completed this one also. Maybe we can directly start our project to-do list. Okay, we can start now. Already we have like, less time only, but yes. Do you have any doubts? No, right? Do you have any doubts? Okay. I'm going to start my project now. I'm going to create a new folder for it. New folder to do list. I'm going to open Visual Studio Code. Then I'm going to create a new file. And I'll close பண்ணிடுவோம். I'm going to create a new file. Let's name it to do list. dot java same name dot java. Okay, now I'm going to start my project. I'm going to start writing my project. So இப்போ நம்மளோட ப்ராப்ளம் என்ன அப்படின்னா, நாட் ப்ராப்ளம், we are just want to create a to do list. To do listனா என்ன அப்படின்னா, we're just going to manage what you're going to do, like that. So first I will do this, second I will do this, I have to do this one, like நோட்ல எழுதி வைப்போம் இல்லையா, same thing like that. I'm going to do one thing that to do list will have the to-do list will have, like, you can add a, like you can add a task there, and then you can remove it if you want, and then you can modify the list. You can view whatever task you have to do, like that. Like not we are planning something, okay, today I'm going to do these things and all. We are going to create this, that project, like that, a mini project. You can't even call it as a mini project, but yes, like I'm going to create it. For now, this 3 days what we have learned, otherwise let's try to create a to-do list. Okay, wow. Now uh, as you know, everything will be included, like in, like everything will be what, encapsulated, or you can call whatever you want, will be what, inside classes only. So I have first created a class to-do list, and then I'm going to create my main function, public static void main string arguments. Inside this, I'm going to do whatever I want. So let's first do one thing. Interface வந்து create பண்ணிடுவோம், ஓகேவா? Because functions and all we can easily write. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one interface. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எடுத்தோடனே யூசருக்கு நம்ம என்ன காட்ட போறோம் அப்படின்றத we have to decide. So what I can do is, let me do one thing. I'm going to create a boolean. You can just follow me, okay? Boolean start. Let's create a variable like start. With starting, it will be true. I'm just creating a variable which is start, and then I'm giving it a true, like a true value, okay? Boolean. Since it's true or false, I'm storing it in a boolean type. And then I'm going to create a while loop, and then I'm going to put a um, give it the start variable here. So while a true கொடுத்தோம் அப்படின்னா, which means what, see, the start is holding the value true, so I'm giving it to while loop. So the condition is always true, which means the condition is always true, which means, so I'm going to write here inside this one, I'm going to write what is system.out.print welcome to to do list app, like this. I'm going to print, okay, welcome to do list app. Actually we don't have that much time to decorate this and all, but yes. So and then it will show me the options, like again system.out.print uh, choose choose an option, choose an option, and then like this. Again, the first option is add a new task. Maybe if you want, you can create with me also, like parallel, you know, வேணும்னா you can like create with me, okay? Add a new task, and then view, maybe add new task, update a task, update a task, and then what, view all tasks, view all tasks, then maybe remove a task, remove a task. You can number differently, right? அப்பதானே தெரியும். Then 2. So the first option, it will show add a new task, update a task, view all task, and then remove a task. And then if you're not going to use it further, you can simply like exit. If the user click fine, exit app, like this I can. So for now I just printed this one, correct? If um I want to get input from the user, right? I want to get input from the user. But the key, what I can do is, see, if I run this one now, if I run this one now, it will print infinite times. So it will print infinite times. So what I can do is, what I can do is, let's leave it like this. Okay, இப்போதைக்கு let's leave it like this. I'm going to get an I'm going to get an user input. இல்லையா? I want to get an user input. After showing all this, it will ask for the input. So I'm going to store it in an integer, like int input equal to get inputs. What you need, you need a scanner object, like. So I'm going to create a scanner object, scanner AC. This will help you to get input, new scanner. And then from system I'm going to take it, like system dot input, system dot scanner sc is equal to new scanner. So it's showing error because I want to import it from the standard library, import java dot util dot scanner. Or else if you put a star na, it will import mostly all libraries. Ella libraries it will import. If you put star here, it will import every libraries. So I'm just putting star, so the error went, right? So the error is not now. Now I can create a scan, like I have created a scanner object. Using this scanner object, I'm going to use it sc dot next integer. I'm going to take an integer as input. This is my input, or else you can name it as choice, maybe choice. Okay, well, now what, depending upon the choice the user will input, either it will be 1 2 3 4 5, the app need to change, like execute that particular logic. Correct? So I need to see, I have get the input, have get the input from the user. Now I need to select this method. எப்படி பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா, maybe I can use switch case, right? Here see, I have told you right now, whenever you are going to, when the user need to select some options, that time you can use switch case. So here I can use switch case, right? Or else you can use some simple if choice equal to 1, like that also you can write. அதே மாதிரி தான் ஒர்க் ஆகும். But here I'm going to use switch case. Switch, you see it's already, like it's give already, அதுவே கொடுத்துருச்சு, so I can use it இல்லையா? But syntax we know, so don't worry. Choice, and then the value is 1, and then I can repeat it for several times. Break a case. Then how many case I have? 1 2 3 4 5 is exit, right? So 5 also I have. Then I can rename it to 2 3 4, and then 5. I can leave this one. So if the user is entering any other input, like 6 7 enter panna, it will show invalid input. Invalid input, please check, like that it will show. Okay, va? For case 1, I'm going to call some function. I'm going to call some function in it. I'm going to call some function. Enna function call panna porendradha I have to decide. Okay, va? So I can case 1 na. So what actually the case 1 is, add a new task. So the user is going to add a new task in somewhere. Correct? The user is going to add a new task somewhere, and then if he click 2, is going to update a task, view all task, remove a task, like this it's going to do. So this is the user interface I have. This is the user interface I have. So class 5, if like, sorry, the choice is 5, let's say the choice is 5, case 5. Case 5 is what, exit app. So I need to exit this app. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னா, I can print first closing application, like this I can print. And then I'm going to change my variable start here to what, false. Start equal to false அப்படின்னு மாத்திட்டேன் அப்படின்னா, so this while loop breaks actually, right? While false ஆயிரும், so the loop breaks. I think this will work. Let's check. Or else it will repeat. It's like a number of times it will repeat. See, it's actually showing me the output. Add a task, update a task, view all task, remove a task, and then exit tab. And also it's asking for some information. If I click 5 here now, closing application, the application is closed. It's working fine, right? So let me test it again for you. I'm running it and I'm getting the output. this, add a task. For now, if you click anything, it won't work. It will just repeat. இல்லையா ஏன்னா நம்ம எதுக்குமே லாஜிக் எழுதல. But 5 alone, I write a logic, it will simply close the application. It's working fine, right? So I have to write every methods here. Yes, so that one is very simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create, you know how to create classes and all, right? So I can simply create some class and then I can handle those situations. Correct? So what I can do is, or else you can simply write some what functions also without using object oriented programming. You can write it also, or not without using object oriented programming, without using classes and objects. If you want to do using some functions alone, you can actually do it. But now we are going to like try to create some classes, because like classes வச்சு பண்ணி பார்ப்போமே, it will be interesting, right? So let's try to create some classes inside this. I'm going to create one class which is class task, let's say. So this class will hold what? This class will hold task. This class will hold the task type and or task name, let's say. So I'm going to create it like string, and then name it string name. So to set this name now, I have two function, which is get name, set name. So get name அப்படின்னு ஒரு function எழுத போனேன், which is like the output, like a return type will be a string, and then get this name. What this function will do is it simply return the name, it simply return the name. அவ்வளவுதான். And then I'm going to create another function which is set name. இப்போ இந்த நேம் இங்க இந்த டாஸ்க்குன்னு ஒரு நேம் இருக்கு இல்லையா? If I want to set a name for it, let's say wake up at again wake up at 6 a.m. This is the first task. I'm going to set the name like, so I can write a function like set name, and then it need, like while setting the name, I will just pass the string, right? So I need to pass the input, right? So input name equal to, like string input equal to name equal to that input. Like this I can assign. Okay, wow. This one is simple, right? I just created a class which have a attribute called string name, which is a data, which is task name actually. If you want to name it like this, task name, you can simple a name a task name task name, so you can understand it even better. Task name equal to, so whenever I try to access this function get name, I will get like the task name and all. If I want to set the task name, I can access using like I can do it using set name function. Okay, well, I have just simply created a task, a class task, and then I'm going to create another class. Let's say um I'm going to do some service, right? So task service இன்னொரு class create பண்ண போறேன், which is class task service. Like this I'm going to create another class which will have what, see, நிறைய task the user is going to see the options and all. Add a new task, update a task, view all task, then definitely so many tasks are going to include here. Let's give, let I will give some task like wake up at early morning, and then brush your teeth, let's say, and then have your coffee, have your hot drink, and then prepare for your like the semester exam, and then go to college, like that. The user can enter so many tasks. Upon the task எல்லாத்தையுமே you have to hold somewhere, like you have to store somewhere. For that I'm going to use an array list. Array list and all you can learn, like you will learn while you are learning collections. For now array list ஒண்ணும் இல்ல, like a set of strings it will hold, like a list. If you know python na, the list, you know, right? Tuple and all, same thing. I'm going to create a list which will hold every strings, like இப்ப நான் சொன்ன எல்லாத்தையுமே it can hold. So I'm going to create that one, which is like array list. Array list, uh, I can, I'm going to store what, this data type task. இதைத்தான் நான் இங்க உள்ள அனுப்புறேன். So this one you have to mostly will, if you are going to store some strings and all, I can pass strings. If you are going to store integers, I can pass integer. Double not double. But now I have created a separate like user defined data type which is task. I'm going to store it. I'm going to actually store this one. this task here. So I created like this array list of tasks, and then the name is tasks, let's say, equal to new array list. That's it. New array list. Simple. I have created a tasks, like it can hold every task. இது வந்து ஒரு கண்டெய்னர் மாதிரி ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க, ஓகேவா இப்போதைக்கு. So what are the function I have? Void add task. Void add task, right? I'm going to write a function void add task, and then see, while adding a task the user will enter a string, so I need to get it from the user, right? So input parameter I need to take, so string task name ne vachukome, task name, string task name. In this way this variable will hold the particular particular task that the user enter, okay va? Add a task string task name, and then tasks dot add, you have a method called add, and then you can add this task, new task. You are going to create a new task like this, and then you are going to add what, the same task name, like this you can insert, correcta? New task and then the task name you have inserted. So actually this one, the user is if the user is going to pass it as a string na, that time it will allow you, but here the user is going to pass a object type, which is actually he will create an object of type class, of type class, and then he's going to pass that one. So that time what I can do is, actually I can't like directly add it, right? Task that add new task and then task name na add பண்ண முடியுமா அப்படின்னா mostly that one you can't do. So I can name it like task. This I think now you can add it, but wait, string actually I can use because the user is going to add, give it like string only. So string add new task, task name. I think I have missed something. Wait, task dot add this task name I'm going to add, and then you have to create a new task, new task, and then I need to pass this name here. Okay, I think I have didn't getting any input, right? So இப்போதைக்கு இது இருக்கட்டும், the constructor to do list dot. Okay, actually I need to return a constructor here, right? Because see, I'm using this methods like set name, get name and all, so I need to use that one while adding it. So I can use like add, and then I need to call this method set name, set name, set name I have, and then I can actually add a method இல்லையா, அப்படிதான் I have to add. So maybe I can create a constructor here. Constructor na ஒன்னும் இல்ல, it will automatically call when you create an object. If you want to learn it like in depth, we will learn it actually while we are learning object oriented programming, அப்போ நம்ம வந்து பார்ப்போம், ஓகேவா? So I'm just going to create a constructor which will actually get a task, and then task name equal to task, like that I'm going to assign it when the constructor is called equal to, okay va? Now you can actually do this new task and then the task name. See, it's not showing any error. So add task, after adding a task I can print like task added, added successfully, like this I can print. So I have created successfully one method, I have created one method. Like this you are going to do some other method. Let's say view task, இப்போதைக்கு வந்து view task பண்ணுவோமா? So I'm going to again write another method view task, view tasks, and then view task we don't need to get anything as an input because I'm going to like see every task I have added. So if, but the condition you need to check here is if the task size is empty, let's say if the task size is empty, equal to 0, or else you can, you have another method like dot is empty you have. If this one is true, if this one is true, which means what, actually there is no task that are added, task add பண்ணலன்னு அர்த்தம். This time you can print what, no task, no task is there. like this you can print. Okay, what else you can show all task. So see, so many like 5 10 tasks is there inside this array list now. That time what you need to do, you need to traverse it, right? You need to traverse this list and you need to like view all tasks. Adana ipo pananum. Then what you need to do, actually you need to iterate this list. You need to iterate this list. You can iterate it using what? For loop. Why I'm using for loop? Because I know like like depending upon the size, that much size I need to like repeat it and then iterate the whole list, and then I need to view each and every task அப்படின்னு எனக்கு தெரியும். So that I can use a for loop here. For int I equal to 0, I less than what? Tasks dot size I can write like size, and then I plus plus I plus plus. So it will iterate from 0 to how many tasks? Let's say 5 it have, 0 to 5 it can iterate. Let's say this task list having 10 tasks, 0 to 10 it can iterate, like that it can iterate. And then I can some simply what I can print, right? So I'm going to do what? Get name I have, right? Get name function I have. So maybe tasks of I, tasks of I dot, or task dot get of I dot get name you have. This one I'm going to print it. This one I'm going to print it. System dot out dot print. I can write inside. I can write it inside this. Simple. Eh? The syntax is right. Okay. This is what we'll get. By this logic, by this method, you can view your task. You can view your task. You can what? View your task. I just and then let's say the user is going to delete some task. The user is going to delete some task. So I'm going to write another method for it. Void delete task, delete task. So delete task pandrapo, the user need to enter like which task he's going to delete after viewing all task na. If the user is want to delete the third task because he finished the task, let's say he completed the task na, he's going to delete that third task na, he will enter 3. We will get an user input from here, and then if the user enter 3, I need to remove the third task, right? So user will input, user will give an input like which like index, let's say index he will enter, and then that index I need to delete, that task I need to delete. And if the index is not inside like our limit, I need to, if that index is less than 1, let's say if the index is less than 1, or let's say the index is greater than our task dot size, which means what? The task is actually not there. The task is actually not there. This time you can print like invalid task number, like that you can print invalid task number, like this you can print. Else actually you can delete it, right? So to delete from an array list, you have this method called remove dot remove. So I can directly use it, task dot remove, and then this index I can pass, this index and pass. Okay wow. And then for your like for the user information, I can print like task deleted or removed successfully, like this I can print. Okay. Now let's see this methods and all is working or not. So add a task வந்து first நம்ம எழுதுவோமா. I have created a method called what? Add a task, right? Add a task. I need to call this method. So what the user is going to do is, first if the user clicks, if the user click 1, he's going to add a new task. So I need to get the input first, string the task or the task user task. Let's say create a variable user task equal to sc dot next like next, because the user is going to enter a string, let's say user dot user task he will enter. Before that I need to tell him like enter a task, enter a task, like this I need to tell, and then the user will enter an input which will be stored in user task. This user task I need to pass it in this method. By calling this method I need to pass this one, right? So I have to create an object for this, right? I have to create one object for this. While creating it, what I can do, I can create one object upon I have to create one object. So where I can create, முன்னாடியே கிரியேட் பண்ணிடுவோமா? எங்க நம்மளோட மெயின் மெத்தட்ல I can create one task service object here. Task service, and then ts, let's say, equal to new task service. Like that I have created one object. So new task service ts. Wait, showing error. No enclosing instance of type to do list is X must qualify the allocation with an enclosing instance. Class task service. Again, let's read the error. No enclosing instance of type to do list is accessible. Like that it's saying. Maybe you can create it like not here. You can create a new task like task service. Let's create a service here. Then let's try to create a service here. Task service. I think I have not like ts equal to new task service, right? New task service. Maybe I can give it as public so that it will be easy for me. Public. So it will be accessible. New task service. Like now also it's not showing, like it's showing an error, right? Task service is equal to new task service. No enclosing of type to do lists must qualify the allocation with an enclosing instance. Enclosing instance I have put. Maybe I have created some task service name, correct? Yes. Public class, static class. Okay, for now, without creating this, let's try to ask, like call this method by putting it static. இப்போதைக்கு பண்ணி பார்ப்போம். Let's do one thing. Maybe we can learn this one also, right? Static, I'm going to put static method, void static, sorry, static void, right? Static void add tasks. Now it's showing another, cannot make a static reference to a non-static. Okay, static void add a new. This one also, then I need to make it as static variable. So இதுவுமே ஒர்க் ஆகாது. அப்புறம் நான் static எடுத்துட்டு maybe I can try to call it. I have to create an object for it. So this is the only thing I can do. Task service equal to new task service, and then I can call this method here, ts or service, right? How I have created task service, let me name it as a service equal to new task service. Now it's working. Service dot add task, and then this user task. இப்போ ஒர்க் ஆகுது, என்ன ஆகுதுன்னு தெரியல. Okay, no problem. I just I actually it's taking some time. See, now it's again showing some error. Okay, maybe now here it's working. So service dot add task I have put. By this you can do what, you can add a task. So same thing for remove task and all. Na update a task, view all task we have. Update, you can do it. You're just going to get an user input index and then a new task, and then you can what, check the index is present or not, and then you can update it. You can just like use this same function name, set name. இதை யூஸ் பண்ணிடலாம் இல்லையா? Yes. Now break, I'm going to put a break here. Then case 3 I have. So for now case 2 I can simply write here task updated. I'm going to leave this for like assignment for you. ASSIGN assignment for you. Okay, ma? You can write this function. So case 3 is view all task. I have written one method, right? What? View tasks. So service dot, we have this method view task. See, I have created one method so I can access this one. And then for case 4 also we have written. So maybe before doing it I can print like your tasks are like this. You can do what you can print. And then case 4, I need to get an user input, right? Enter task number to delete. Enter task number to delete. Like this I can take. And then what I can do is int in like input equal to sc dot next in the user is going to enter that index. Maybe I can simply write index, and then this index I'm going to delete. So I'm going to call this function from service dot delete task. This index I'm going to pass, so it will delete the particular index. Correct? Yes. So this one having this only one error. I'm not sure what it's actually showing. Wait, let me check it. No enclosing instance of type to-do list is action must qualify the allocation with an enclosing instance x.new, where x is an instance of a to-do list. Okay, let's verify it again. Public class, we have also, maybe we can change it, this one to public also. And then we have written everything inside a to-do list. So maybe if I remove this, and then because we are actually creating everything, right? We are not using any static keywords, right? So that I can do like this. I can create here. And then I'm also removing this one from here. I'm going to write it. Actually it works in the same way, right? I'm doing the same thing again. But actually this is how it works. This one alone I need to check. No enclosing instance. Hold on, I will check it. It's showing what? Enclosing instance of type example x.new. I think this one I'm getting because uh, in this version it's not working, I think. A normal class. Okay, I can move it actually. Okay, move it to the top level. Or else I can try to write it like first let's create a object for to-do list. To-do list, where's to-do list? The class name is what? To-do list, right? to-do list, TODO equal to new to-do list, then TODO dot task service. Like this I can access, but this one is also not working. Maybe for now, for time being, I can simply, I think the version issue is there, I think, because everything works fine here. Let me directly, we can hold on, let me check it once in my system. I can put static or else. Hmm, static instance of class. In my system it's working, I think I need to change the version then. Yes, the version problem, I think. So because since we are not using a static class, now that's why it's showing error. So let me copy it from my system and then to do list. Hmm. Now I think it will work. Okay, thank you for holding. Hmm. Just sorry for it. Now it's, I think now it will work. So it's asking me to enter the choice 5. It will close the application. This one we have already verified, right? Now I'm going to check for other cases. So enter the choice. Let's say add a task. I'm going to add a task like wake up at 6. Task added successfully. Let's see if the task is added actually. See, 1 wake up at 6. I'm going to add another task. Let's say both earlier. The task is added. Again, let's add another task. Um, go for work. For now it's enough, I think. So let's see, view all tasks. See, it's showing the task like wake up at 6, bath earlier, go forward. Let's try to delete a task. Task number is, I think, go for work. I'm not going to go for work today, so I'm going to delete that one. Task deleted successfully. This one I have printed, right? So again, let's view task. Then 3. See, the task is deleted. So the update part alone, I'm going to leave it for you. The same logic I have used here, same one, the same classes and then cases and all. So the update task alone I have included from my thing. So you have to write that one. Okay, well, hope I think you have cleared, I have cleared everything. If you have any doubt now, you can ask me now. I have like stopped the screen. If you have any doubt now, you can ask now. One Janani Priya asked, like, sir, I have a doubt. Why do we use at override? At override you use when you are going to use some inheritance and all. See, at override what it will do is actually while doing polymorphism now. If you're overriding some function with the same name, you need to use this keyword at override. That will actually override that particular function with the same name. This one actually we cover it while we are learning this polymorphism and all. So that time it will be helpful for you. At override, it's actually an like a keyword that will help you while you're doing polymorphism. You have to mention this one at override, so that I'm overriding this function for the reference purpose. We will add it.
Form. So thanks for your sessions. Thanks for attending the sessions. So all of them. Thanks, Dinesh, for the training this handling these sessions. Once again, thanks Dinesh, and thanks for everyone for participating in these sessions. So happy New Year to all of them. Hope you enjoy the sessions. And let's start a journey with the new concepts. Thanks for attending the sessions.